So, what was I going to talk to you about? Yeah. So, you know how all this stuff is going on with Norman and everything? Well, oh, yeah, you just
Yeah.
go on your phone. Go on.
I was
You
and I
were
was
what?
literally it was my radio so I could turn off my radio so I could listen to you.
Quiet. Well, obviously, there is no guarantees in this all, you know? There's no guarantee that one of us is not gonna get hurt pretty bad or worse.
I've already seen what worse is, and that's why I'm so terrified of this. Is that I don't want to look at it anymore. I don't want to, I'm gonna be honest. I have a real nervous wreck with facing death. And to be honest with you, if I had a choice in this, I wouldn't face him at all. But here's the reality: is that I'm not gonna let you do this alone, and I'm not gonna let anyone go in alone. It's just not in my nature, and I would go down dying if it meant that, I got to protect the people that I care about.
Sounds familiar. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Is that there's no guarantees, and as much as I'm not 100% with remembering everything and that kind of thing. I want to leave something behind if I'm gone. So, I don't know. There's not a lot of things I think your dad would want, but I think it'd be nice if I could do him a nice surprise for once. But I kind of need your help a little bit, and you've got to keep a secret, okay?
I can keep a secret. I I could keep a secret, but I want you to know that before you tell me what's going on, I don't like the idea of thinking that something could happen to you.
Nothing is gonna happen, but it's good to have a backup plan.
You're right.
I was wondering if I could
Row your boat.
borrow some money. Only borrow. But I was thinking, maybe we could buy a house. Like, maybe in Mirror Park or something. And then we can get it decorated all nice, and you can stay there if you want. But at least, if I'm gone, at least I leave something behind.
How much do you need?
I don't have a lot at all. I have 120k to my name, so each houses are expensive. So I can get a loan, but
Well, I have 750 to my name, and I'm willing to offer you.
didn't you have
literally-
900k the other
Yeah.
day?
I bought a car and I bought Ziggy something. That doesn't matter. I'll tell you this much. My business has 200 grand. I can pull from that. I still technically have capital of about 900.
Are you sure you want to do this? I don't want to force you into anything or guilt you into anything.
Well, for this family, of course, I would. Listen, regardless of what people might think about me, regardless of what others might portray me as, regardless of who I hang out with, this is my family. And if there's anything I care about in my life, more than myself, it's probably my family and the people in this family. And I have done, up to this point, everything I can to uphold that. I'm going to warn you, those houses in Mirror Park are very expensive.
Yeah, they're about 950k.
Well, I have good news. Being, I guess, a cop, we can get the extension on 15 weeks for a loan too. So even if we cover more than half, we could kind of come arms in arms to, you know, at least pay off the loan.
Okay.
I could help you with weekly payments. Let's see here. I'm willing to sell a few cars
No,
to make up for some of that. I have 15 cars. I'm already ridiculous.
Quite fair enough. Fair enough.
I could probably sell my cruiser to somebody in PD for 50. Keep the Explorer. Sell the minivan.
Well, why don't we just see
yeah.
what we can get from a loan?
Sure.
Okay.
I have a positive loan with fast loans. And I know my pro rates for them are pretty good. I should be able to get a good interest if we go through this.
And do you have to say the loans for, like, do you have to be the one who owns the house?
Let me ask you this. Who do you want to own the house?
I think me. Because then there's less
So
question about who it goes to afterwards.
that's fine. I would rather, so here's the contingency I'm going to throw in for sake of safety, that we're doing this based on a what if situation. If you do this, I need you to get in touch. I can get you a lawyer, but I want you to get a living will, so that, and this is like the very important thing, the loan will be in your name.
Okay.
And if anything were to happen to you, the house and the loan need to go into someone else's name. Because if only the house goes into, let's say, Matt's name, or my name, or literally anyone else's name, and the loan doesn't carry over, I'm pretty sure the loan company can take the house back as collateral. So we would have to make sure of that.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. But don't tell him about this. Don't tell anybody.
I
Ziggy.
don't. No, I'm not telling Ziggy. I'm not even gonna tell Cody. It's also because I haven't seen Cody in God knows how long, but that's besides the point. But I don't know. I feel wrong about all this. I don't, something doesn't just sit right with me.
What part?
everything with Norman. You and I are having a father-son conversation about, you know, what if you die? And this isn't a conversation I ever want to have with someone such as yourself or Matt or anyone in the family. I hate feeling like this.
Sometimes life gets hard. We don't get to choose what comes at us and what kind of hard conversations we have to have. We just gotta make sure that we keep each other on our feet and keep going. And don't stop. Because if you stop, you realize how bad it is, and then you spiral. We don't need no spiraling right now.
I don't want to spiral. I don't want to. A quote I heard a long time ago was that if you work really, 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 really hard, and you always work really, really, really hard, and you get a family and you work really, really, really hard to support them, and you work really, really, really hard at your job, by the time you work hard enough, you won't have time to think about, I guess, all the negative things going on.
It's true.
And that's something I'm trying to follow. I want to work hard, and I don't want to think about. I don't want to think about all the negative things going on, but at the same time, we have to plan for them. Because unfortunately, and you know better than, I guess, unfortunately, a lot of people, but you know, there's a reality check in here somewhere for Norman. And regardless of how far we run, he's always very close. So
Odessa said that I shouldn't trust Andy Jones. Why is that?
Odessa said that?
Yeah, she said to talk to you about it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna just start this one off real quick by saying I don't have a damn clue what Odessa's talking about. And I need to really talk with Odessa because for whatever reason, everybody in the PD thinks that I'm leading the Norman investigation. Everyone thinks I'm leading that whole thing and I'm aiding Odessa in her thing with Pez. I'm not getting near any of that with a 10-foot pole. I'm just going to go on a limb and say I'm conflicted. Whether that's true or not, I'm using the excuse. I want nothing to do with it. I'm too busy trying to focus on it from a family perspective, from a close relation perspective. I don't want to look into this. I don't want to deep dive into it because I'm constantly reminded in the PD of the negative that comes around all of it. I would much rather stay on the sideline and offer my input when needed. But I'm tired of everyone thinking that I'm leading this investigation, and I'm going to have a very stern talking with a lot of members of SCU to let them know that I want nothing to do with this. I want to focus on the important things like my family, people like yourself, people like Matt.
Cody.
Oh, yeah, Cody. I'm going to be honest with you. As for Andy, my last conversation with Andy was actually a very nice conversation. I really enjoyed our conversation. We caught up. We both had a really bad past with the Chicken Man. I don't know how much you know about that, but I might be able to help you with a little bit of that stuff too.
I'm filled in a little bit. Fellow Richard. Slandering the name.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to tell you much, but it's not mine to tell. Andy's pretty deep in this. And kind of worried she's going to drown. So if you can, just make sure you're there to pull her out. She said you two used to be close.
Yeah, we used to be really good friends.
She could probably use a bit of a rekindling.
What the fuck is that?
That's what? It's funny. It's really funny.
How so?
Just Andy things. I think she's really important to all of this, and so is whoever that boat is.
You think I should rekindle with Andy?
100%.
Do
She's
you
doing a lot
trust?
of. I do trust her, and she's doing a lot on her own that I don't think she probably should be.
You think more your personal opinion? How far
Yeah.
away should I stay away from this all from a PD perspective?
Well, I mean, one of the last times we talked, you said you wanted to treat it like an investigation, and now you've kind of changed that.
Well, not really. The way I worded it with you before, because this is the way I've worded it with everybody. When I first heard about Norman, I treated it like an investigation. I treated it from a cop perspective, right? There's a guy at a lighthouse making people uncomfortable, really hard to read, right? The whole thing. And you know, it's that changed the day I watched 12 rounds of 9mm hit Norman's head. And he finished his cigarette, walked back in that lighthouse, and locked the door behind him. That was the day that I realized that there was no question that this was supernatural. Something didn't seem right. Something seemed off. And I'm not going to lie to you, it scared the hell out of me. Oh, it scared the hell out of me.
I'm more worried if it didn't.
Yeah. I to answer your question and to re-solidify this the statement that I made to you. When I first looked into Norman, it wasn't from a personal snooping around. It was more of a I want to treat this as a potential suspect. And then when I saw what I was dealing with, I wanted nothing to do with it. I ran so far away from it. I dropped everything and I walked away as far away as I could. And unfortunately, by the time I realized I was far enough away, like a hook, he pulled me right back in. And, you know, here we are.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, I'm not treating it like a PD thing at all. It's just much bigger than any police department can handle, if I'm honest. I think even... I'll give it to them, but the detectives working the highwayman thing have got it. I mean, to be fair, Odessa seems to know a lot about things that are definitely not typical for investigations, but... I mean, Odessa has apparently made a deal with a god of some kind. Like, I don't want to really get into it, but she's protected herself because she got stabbed by the highwayman, and Norman was literally opening her wound on her body. So she had to get it treated. Listen, maybe you can help me out a bit. People like you, people trust you. Anybody you know and trust that is involved in this in any capacity, let them know that on or around the 2nd of December, the 2nd of November is when we're looking at for this council, this meeting. I'm thinking I'm going to send out invites to a Day of the Dead ball, perhaps, or a party of some kind, and that's how people are going to know where to go and what time. Okay? You do that?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
It's the best way we can help out right now.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Did you want to invite Andy to this?
She's already invited. Everybody who knows who's anything to do with this Norman thing is invited. I don't care what deals they've made. I'm not judging anybody. And I don't care whether they want him to stay or they want him to go, because everybody's in this. We're all in this together. No matter in what capacity.
What, okay. Do you mind if I ask you a question, actually, speaking of deals?
Sure.
Could you do me a favor and re-explain a little bit as to what deal you made with Norman, just so that I have a better understanding, knowing how to proceed?
Me and Matt went to the lighthouse to discuss you and your involvement and why Norman wanted anything to do with you. And by the time we got there, he said that if we left there and then one of us three would die. So we made a deal that we could give someone else instead. That's it. That's the extent of it. It wasn't really a choice in the end. But that's the one we made. I have no intention of holding up and giving someone over to him, but that's it.
Can I ask who you threw under?
Nobody. It was open-ended. Just Norman said it was going to be someone that we knew. Well, it had to be someone we know, and he'd call on us at some point, and we'd have to do it.
We have to kill him?
Well, we have to give them over and to die, so but he specifically stated that all three of us would have to do the deed, I guess, or bring this person to him. Just to make it worse. So that one person can go off on their own and, I don't know, take the grief of the others. He wanted us all to suffer if we're going to do this. That was a lie.
Gotcha.
So, at some point he's going to call on us, and hopefully, by that point, we'll have figured out something else. We should probably go help. It's only a call.
Yeah.
But thanks for talking to me.
Yeah, of course.
So insisting it's a prop.
We need to eyeball houses. Let me know how much you need, and
Tell
I'll
them
try
they're
to
a
make it
prop,
happen.
and you're going to treat them as such.
Try to reduce the loan to as small as possible.
Right,